speaking Japanese.
You
You'd be
live
fine.
there. You know how it gets.
Yeah, no, I know. When are you moving to Japan?
Dude, don't even test
When
me.
are you becoming like this
PewDiePie?
this entire streaming career is just a farce. You've been buying money and time when you can finally live out your dream of going to a remote village in Japan and training to be a swordsmith.
The only problem is that you come here too frequently when it makes me feel like you don't like living in Japan for extended periods of time.
No, I do. Unfortunately, I have this streaming job and everyone's bloody here. And whenever I want to do cool stuff, we have to do it over here. But you should come to the Japans. You should come to the Japans.
I will. I mean, I'll
when are you
come
coming
back.
next? When are you coming next?
Probably not this fall. Maybe in the winter, potentially, after the election is over. But I don't know.
Get some more interesting IRL streams.
Last time you and CDawg were in Japan together, timestamped. Oh my god,
dude, this was
the greatest.
It was a good trip.
This was the greatest experience.
I still think that's one of my best IRL streams I've ever done.
Dude, it was so good.
That
was so much though. Like, look at how much wasabi that is, and it's real wasabi too, which is actually, I guess, not as sharp.
That guy cooked. That guy, that was still, I think, probably the best teppanyaki I've ever had.
Dude, I know.
That was amazing.
That was a beautiful night that we had together. Ludwig will never have a night like that with you.
What's crazy is that I've tried to go back to Kobe and do a similar night out. I've not been able to get the same level of access. Because, dude, we had like
Bro, we capped it off with a Yakuza dude doing karaoke. It was like literal Yakuza side mission that we did.
It was a crazy stream. I feel like I'm never going to be able to, like, I have to go out so much more to be able to get the chance to do that again.
Yeah.
And then the woman calling you Godzilla.
Yeah, that was so sick.
That bar was crazy. I don't think I'll ever get a bar like that again.
Yeah, that stream lives in my memory as one of like the best moments.
It was because it was like
our romantic night together in Kobe.
It was like the ultimate side quest stream.
Yeah,
it was like you just turn up, you're like, what is it?
And you don't like really expect it because it's Kobe.
No, right?
You're like, oh, we could have done this in Tokyo. It's like, no, we could not have.
Pete went to Kobe recently and he tried to do an IRL stream and he said that he got kicked out of everywhere.
Well, now I feel like so let's talk about that. Now I feel like they're very upset about streaming in Japan now. Is that true? Like they don't like foreigners as much because like due to the currency, due to how weak the Japanese yen is, like there's like an influx of tourists more than usual. I understand.
Yeah, so obviously because the yen, if you don't know, it's very, very weak right now. Because obviously I don't know how much you know about how the economy works, but
I know a little bit.
Well, it's Japan economy. It's so heavily tied to US debt.
Yeah.
And so it's a very weird system. Basically, the entire economy is tied to US debt. So basically, whenever the yen gets really weak for whatever reason, they just sell a bunch of their dollars, which they have, or the debt that they have. I can't remember exactly. But anyway, point being, the yen is super weak right now. So people are flooding in and stuff is really cheap. Like stuff was cheap before. So when you were there, you probably noticed that everything was way too cheap.
Yeah.
Back then. That was
that's what I was thinking. I was like, it's way too cheap, man.
Yeah. And that was back when the dollar was like 140 to the yen.
I was like, make this more expensive, please.
But essentially what's happened is that there's been a lot of over tourism. But the thing that I think makes the situation worse is that Japan news networks really love showing it off. Like they'll do whole news segments like showing off like a piece of trash in Kyoto, like on the street. They'll be like, look, it's so bad, like it's overrun. And and at that point, even though there is definitely an argument that there is over tourism, I think at that point now we're just trying to like we're definitely inflating the problem and kind of fanning the flames. So I think on like a national scale, when you're looking at it, like and also when you see, I don't know if you've read comments from Japanese people. Have you ever gone to like a Japanese article and like translated the comments? No. Well, yeah, you'd be in for a treat.
Are they really racist?
I would.
They're like, these white monkeys need to.
I mean, you definitely see them, and especially like with the Johnny Somali stuff, you probably saw some pretty horrific comments, I'd say.
Yeah, but Johnny Somali sucks.
Well, yeah, but he sucks.
Yeah.
But like with all this going on, a lot of people are like, well, even though the tourism is a major aspect of the Japanese economy now, and they've been gearing up for it, like they're pushing into it. The problem is that a lot of people on the ground don't want to do what the government is trying to push for, right? Like a lot of businesses are not ready for it. Obviously, there are some areas in Kyoto and Tokyo where they love it and they want more. But there are some areas where they're like, what the f? We didn't want this massive increase of foreigners and tourism. It's tough because there's a lot of the times we see like Johnny Somali and we see like, I don't know, white people or whatever doing like bad things. But like that group is the smallest tourism group. Like the biggest one is Chinese and Korean, right? So there's a lot of we're seeing it this like from a Western
Japanese
angle.
people famously don't like them either.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I played League of Legends on the playing League of Legends on Europe server, I thought I knew racism, and then I went to the Japanese server, and I was like, oh no, okay, this shit is like intense.
Well, yeah.
So this is so multifaceted, right? Like, there's a lot to like dig into. I don't think it's as bad as everyone is saying. Like, I think it's definitely like doomerish. Like, people are getting worked up over it. And you know, when you go there, yes, if you go to like, it's like me saying tourism is a problem in New York and go to Times Square and being shocked that there's like a lot of people. And that's like the most of it. Like, a lot of areas in Japan still don't have a lot of tourism. And if you're going to like the most popular places, yes, you're going to have a lot of over tourism.
So are they not mad at streaming though? I feel like they do hate streamers now, like across the board.
They have a term called Meiwaku YouTuber, which means like nuisance YouTuber. That's like the big thing right now.
Do they distinguish between nuisance YouTubers and like good YouTubers or no?
They do, yeah, absolutely. Like, and you know, this is also a thing, and like, it's not just like foreigners; it's Japanese ones that are doing it too.
Oh yeah,
there are a lot of Japanese.
No, there's there's like serial harassers, like the two dudes that actually did, I think, get like arrested or had their YouTube channels.
Yeah, a lot of them get arrested.
Had their YouTube channels get taken down. They were like harassing women on the streets, like nonstop.
I mean, in Japan, you don't get to around much before you find out, you know. Did you also see the Fuji stuff? Did you see all that going down? The big people taking pictures in front of the convenience store?
Oh, I did. Wait, why did they stop that? Because like, who gives a shit?
Yeah, so this is okay. So
it's the most beautiful.
Do you want to show like them the picture so that I'll explain the story? I mean, okay, I have an opinion on this, and I'll get into that. But to tell you the facts of what happened, basically, there was this convenience store that was located in Fuji. For some reason, Japan also people in Japan don't understand why foreigners love konbinis and like the aesthetic of the konbini.
Yeah,
and so it was really popular.
This is the classic. You've seen this image before, but it's like
right. This became very popular. The locals started getting really annoyed because people were just like standing in the road. They were standing in the parking lot. They were like taking pictures, like kind of being like just in the way, which Japan hates that. That's like the number one thing they don't like is people inconveniencing daily life. And so it was getting pretty big. But a lot of nuance was lost on this because a lot of people were just like, it's a problem. It's crazy. It's out of control. Let's put up a barrier. So they decided to erect a barrier that cost taxpayers, I think, like $8,000. That was just a thin tarp.
Did they get mad at that?
Who? The locals?
The locals, like, oh, this is so expensive.
They didn't get mad at it. They kind of were like, all right, sure. So the thing went up, and it was kind of a waste because people already just poked holes in it. Well, a lot of the problem was that I found with this, and if you know where this Lawson is, this Lawson was located directly outside of where the bus terminal was, and also where one of the most popular train stations were for tourists. So obviously, the closest konbini to Fuji, where every tourist was going to go. Why is there like a shock that the people are going to want to take pictures? And my issue is this, is that Japan often, when stuff gets too popular that they don't understand why it's popular, their immediate thing or the normal recourse to dealing with it is to shut it down. Another example of this that happened a while back is that there was like this tree in Hokkaido. It was like a lone tree. Type in like Hokkaido, like it was like a tree that was in the middle of a field and it looked really picturesque. Yeah, so they had like this tree and it got really popular. And I guess people were walking through like either a farmer or someone's land to get through it. And so to deal with this, instead of like maybe figuring out a way to make, tourism around it, they just cut it down.
They cut it down?
They were like, get rid of it. They were
that makes no sense.
Yeah. But with tourism specifically, Japan, they don't like dealing with like
nuisances.
Nuisances or uncertainty is what I'd say. So whenever there's like a thing where they're like, we don't get this, that their immediate thing is how do we just immediately stop it? And sometimes it works, aka cutting down the tree. And other times I feel like it doesn't work very well, like this Fuji thing.
You've never seen this guy?
No, I've never seen
You got to link up with him, dude.
I am scared.
That one is the most viral one. Like he straight up rolls up on a Yakuza dude and they love it.
But most of them are really chill. Most of them are like they're not trying to like start fights.
Here, this is when we went to Kobe and
I embarrassed myself.
That's the guy.
This guy is 1,000. Like he doesn't have any tattoos though.
We don't have to have tattoos. But I don't.
He was definitely Yakuza.
I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, I don't really know. But the guy definitely didn't have a normal job from what he was telling us. I remember I had a brief conversation with him. Also, his aura was way different.
He has no visible tattoos. Normal Japanese people are like very timid, very shy, and keep to themselves. This dude, 100p, was all up in our business, okay? I remember there was like a lot of drama between China and Japan with like Chinese tourists going to Japan and like waving the Chinese flag or whatever.
Oh, let me
There was like some shit there.
Yeah.
And then like there was a place that was like no Chinese. Like there was a place I think that had like a no Chinese sign or something.
There's so many places that have like no foreigners. I mean, it happens a lot. Like there's a lot of places that have that. But you know, I try to explain to people that like I think it can definitely like feel like xenophobic, but I think the intention is that they don't want people who don't speak Japanese. And sometimes, unfortunately, they write it like that.
But it's a little bit.
It definitely is. But like if you walked in, right,
xenophobic.
If you walked in speaking Japanese, you'd be fine.
You live there, you know how it gets.
Yeah, no, I know. But like,
I think it's funny. I mean, I think it's cool. Like white people get to experience racism for once. Like it's like a fun tourism destination.
But like if you walked into that place that they said no foreigners, right, and you started speaking Japanese, they give you a seat. They're like no question.
Yeah, because they're also simultaneously held to a higher power of like being Japanese, so they have to be timid and respectful.
Well, not always. Like I think it's tough, man, because some of those things are like really poorly translated.
Bro's talking like a victim right now.
No.
He's like, no. I swear, they're nice to me. I think.
It sucks. I think it's backwards. They still have it, but I think a lot of the times it's used as like a thing to be like, look, Japan really is racist. And it's like, all right. But like, I mean, I think most countries have that in some capacities, right? I think it's just a shame.
But I love it. Like that's
so open.
For me, that's what I like. I like that it's racist. I'm like, yeah, they're being racist to me because I'm white. I think it's funny. I still love it.
Stockholm syndrome.
It's it is definitely my favorite destination to go to.
Yeah.
Probably the only place I genuinely enjoy going to and visiting. So for me, it's great.
I think you have to just imagine, right? Like for a timid Japanese store owner who's like probably has the same customers every week, but like if a guy
he's still defending this guy.
I honestly, if Hasan walked into my quaint little cafe, I'd be like, get out. What nationality are you? No. This is bad. This is like the worst one ever, though. Look at this. This is so bad. Did you hear about all the stuff with Keon? They shut it down?
Yeah.